Hello everybody, welcome to Our Time for All. Today we're going to be working with warm and cool colors and we're going to create a sun and moon project. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get on to it. The material you're going to need for this project is going to be a pencil, an eraser, a permanent marker, or just a regular black marker if that's what you have available, and your oil pastels. As you can see, I have already separated my warm colors from my cool colors. It will come in handy to have a circle to help you trace the middle circle. I'm going to set my circle right in the center of my paper, and I'm going to trace around it very soft. Remember that we need to draw very light until we like our project. So I have my circle here in the center, and now I'm going to have to divide this to make a sun part and a moon part. So I'm going to divide it with a curve. First, I'm going to draw my curve, and now I will decide if I want to make a nose here. So I'm going to start drawing my curve here, and when I get to the middle of my circle, I'm going to start coming out to make a nose. So I'm going to go out a little, and then I'm going to go in and continue the rest of my curve. This would be the continuation over here. So now I have a moon side and a sun side. If you want to give a little extra detail to your nose, you can make a little curve going back, and that's going to give it more of a nose feeling. Now we need to decide, what are we going to draw on our sun and our moon? What kind of face are we going to do? So I'm going to start with the mouth, and I'm going to have half of the mouth kind of in my moon. This mouth is sideways. And then the rest of my mouth is going to be on my sun part. So now I have my mouth over here. To do this, you can do kind of like a mountain on top and just a curve at the bottom. Now I'm going to move on to the eyes. So what do I want to do for the eyes? On my moon, I want to do an eye that is sideways so that it matches my moon. And I'm going to do something like this. And on my sun, I want to make a really big eye that is open and looking to the front. Now I feel like this eye is kind of too far away apart, so I'm going to move it a little bit. I'm redoing my eye because I want it to be as big as this one. So, and I'm moving it forward a little bit too. There we go. I like this one better. Okay, so now we have most of my features. I think I'm going to give my sun a little bit of blush here. And then we go to town with the background. So to begin, I'm going to add some sun rays to my sun, and I'm just doing some like wiggly lines going all the way out, and I'm making some short peaks and some long peaks, just kind of going all the way out to the edge of my paper. I will probably add more sun rays on the back, just to give it some depth. So I have my sun part ready. Now for my moon, I'm going to start with some stars that I'm going to trace on my background. Now that I have my stars, I am going to do some moonbeams, but I'm just going to go and do very short peaks coming out of my moon. And then these moonbeams, I'm going to extend my lines to create my background. There you go. we have our final sketch, and this is ready now to be traced on Sharpie. It is very important, I'm gonna make a stop here. If you're gonna be working with oil pastels, you need to retrace with your marker first. You never put marker on top of your oil pastels. Take your time when you are retracing your project and make sure that you go slow and you double check every line before you trace it. When you have a big area like here, you can do your retracing in parts. Just stop where your hand doesn't move comfortably anymore. And then when you begin, just start again exactly where you left your last line. It's okay to move your drawing around so that you feel comfortable when you are retracing. Okay, so I am done retracing, but as you can see, I have a lot of pencil lines on my drawing. So you can go ahead, oh look, I missed that little line. You can go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to erase all of my pencil lines. You can pause it here. Go ahead and retrace your drawing and erase all of your pencil lines too. You can see that I did a lot of adjustments to my final drawing. For example, I didn't draw the lines inside of the stars, and my sun rays, I made them a little different. So it's okay to make adjustments. Just make sure that all of the pencil marks are gone. So I am ready to start coloring. In this case, we are gonna be using, like I told you, our warm and cool colors. I have all of my warm colors over here, all of my cold or cool colors over here. So I'm actually gonna flip them. So I'm gonna use my cool colors on the side of the moon, and I'm going to use my warm colors on the side of my sun. Quick tips for oil pastels. If you were using your pastels on a different project, you might have a dirty oil pastel like mine is here. Make sure that you clean it out on a piece of extra paper first. You just have to roll this around for the color to come up. And second tip, if you're gonna leave your moon white, you will have to cover it on a white oil pastel. Okay guys, again, if your oil pastels break, don't worry, just save both pieces because they are both good to go. All right, let's start coloring. Give your moon an outline of the color that you relate to the night. For example, I'm using some violet. And then I'm gonna go next to it with a light blue color. This is to give your moon some personality and don't just leave it white. Once you have your outline with your white oil pastel, you can go into it and blend it into the body of the moon. Remember to blend, doing tiny, tiny circles. Don't worry, if you cover some of your marker lines, at the very end of the project, you're gonna have a chance to outline all of this again with your oil pastels, if you want to. Maybe by that time, you're not gonna wanna move anything because you like the way it is. On my sun, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to outline right next to my line with my darkest color that I'm gonna be using, which in this case is gonna be red in my sun. And then I'm gonna start with a medium orange or a yellow to go around, touching that line that I did and bringing it in circles. So I'm doing a fade in my sun. I had like a really dark red outside, and then I had a soft coat in orange, and now I have a yellow color. So I'm gonna go fill in the center of my sun in yellow, and then I'm gonna start blending the other colors around. So most of my sun is covered. Now I'm gonna do the top coat for blending, which is always done in tiny circles on top of all of this area. Okay, so I'm done with my sun and moon part. Now I'm gonna start going into my sun rays. I am also gonna do a red outline because I want them all to look very fiery. And I'm even gonna make some red lines going out of here. These are gonna come useful for the blending part later. Now I'm gonna move on to a dark orange. I'm gonna clean my pastel and start blending my red into the orange. Remember guys, you're moving in circles so that you can start mixing the paint that you left with your red oil pastel. And I'm going to finish my sun rays with a yellow color. So on my sun, I used a red outline, a dark orange right next to my red to start blending in. To the inside of the sun, I used a light orange and then yellow. And on my sun rays, I'm using red, dark orange, and then some yellow for the ending of my sun rays. Take your time when you're using your colors. Don't rush this process, enjoy it. Very important guys, don't forget to blend in tiny circles. I still have to give some color here to this guy's eyes. So I am actually gonna do a blue eye for my sun, just to give it a little bit of contrast. I'm using here a cool color. My moon, a violet eye. And I'm gonna fill out the white area of the sun's eye. I will fill it out with white. Okay, guys, so now I'm gonna move on to the stars. The stars, I'm gonna go with a very light yellow, and I'm even gonna mix this one with white because I want it to be super light. Now that I outlined every single one of my stars in yellow, I'm gonna fill in the rest of the star in white and blend it with some circles. My moon rays, I'm going to make them on purple and blue, or violet and blue. So I am outlining the little triangles that we did, outlining them in the inside of my shape, just to deposit a little bit of color. And then with my very light blue, I'm going to fill out those triangles. Now we're gonna move on to the background. In my case, I wanna flip my colors around, and now I'm going to use cool colors for the background of my sun, and then warm colors for the background of my moon. So on my sun, I'm gonna start using some blue colors. As you can see, I am also covering my desk on this side, so I don't have to spend as much time cleaning. Since I want to make a very light blue, I'm going to start with a white coat, and then I'm going to go over it with my blue color. Okay, so I'm almost finished. If you are coloring your project with me, you can make a stop right now so that you can finish coloring, and then you can continue on to the next step. Once I have covered my whole project with oil pastels, my next step is just to go over those marker lines that got erased, and I'm just gonna make those areas a little bit darker. For example, my moon rays are kind of erased by now. So I'm just gonna go over the lines with my dark color, very softly and slowly. What we are looking for right now is to polish. For example, I have here a lot of white ends. So I'm just gonna cover all of those white ends with my color. I brought my black oil pastel to finish my eyes. Be very careful with your black oil pastel because it can make your project really dirty. And we are done with the sun and moon project, done in warm and cool colors. I hope you like this video. I will leave some examples here done by my students. If you enjoy this tutorial, you know what to do. Ciao!